Y'all. Papoose just sat across from Sway Calloway and said something so wild about his daughter's dating life that when I connected the dots to what he's doing with Claressa Shields right now, I had to pause the video, walk around my living room, and come back to it twice. Because the hypocrisy? Baby, the hypocrisy is loud. Like, screaming from the mountaintop loud. Okay, so if you've been living under a rock, which, respectfully, some of y'all have, Papoose, the Brooklyn rapper formerly known as Remy Ma's devoted black love husband, is now allegedly deep in a relationship with Olympic boxing champion Claressa Shields. She's 30. He's reportedly 47. That's a 17-year age gap, if my math is matting. And while the internet has been chewing on this situation for months, a 3-year-old Sway interview just resurfaced where Papoose allegedly revealed his true feelings about age gaps, and let me tell you, the receipts don't lie even when the man behind the dark shades allegedly does. Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. Because here's what doesn't make sense. In that Sway interview, Papoose, the self-appointed patriarch of black love, the man with the golden child narrative, the dude who allegedly built his entire brand on being the ultimate devoted black father, sat there and told the world that when his daughter Chanel was around 17 or 18, he had a huge problem with a boy who was reportedly just 2 years older than her. 2 years. He said he didn't like the vibe. He said he went to the boy's parents' house. He said he took it head-on. And when Sway asked him about the age, he stumbled through it like a man who knew exactly how this was going to age. Because reportedly? Now? He's dating a woman 17 years his junior. Do the math with me, baby. Let's get into all of this because trust me, by the end, you're going to see this completely differently. And wait till you hear what his ex-wife Remy Ma allegedly tweeted about this whole timeline, because that is where this entire story falls apart. So who are the key players here? You've got Papoose, government named Shamil Mackey, a Brooklyn rapper who spent the better part of 2 decades being publicly celebrated as one half of hip-hop's most visible ride-or-die marriages. He was allegedly married to Grammy-nominated rapper Remy Ma, the Terror Squad legend, the conceited hitmaker, the woman whose comeback he arguably rode into every dinner, every interview, every red carpet for 17 years. And then there's Claressa Shields, aka T-Rex, aka the 2-time Olympic gold medalist, aka arguably the greatest woman boxer of all time. She's 30. She's decorated. She's building. And then there's Chanel Mackey, Papoose's daughter, who's now grown but at the center of this resurfaced interview clip. Now here's the surface story. Papoose and Remy Ma announced their split. Papoose allegedly moved on with Claressa. Claressa has been publicly calling him her husband. And the internet? The internet has been in full forensic mode. But here's the thing that nobody is talking about. Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. Remy Ma allegedly posted a tweet, and Nyla broke it down in her video, that reportedly said if you just turned 30 and allegedly just met someone 8 months ago who is 47, who she knew since he was 10, who she was married to since he was 13, who has 4 biological children including one who's 28 turning 29, one who's 25, one who's 24 turning 25, and a 6-year-old baby, while allegedly promising a newborn and finalizing a divorce 18 hours, 54 minutes, and 3 seconds ago, please refrain from speaking. That's not a subtweet. That's a whole indictment in 280 characters. Now, that's the surface story. Let me tell you what's underneath. Because when I sat with this timeline, baby, it gets messy. Like, messy. Let's start with the deep dive, because the Sway interview is where this whole facade allegedly starts crumbling. In the clip, Papoose is asked about parental challenges. He casually mentions he had a boyfriend of his daughter's that he didn't like. Sway pushes him. What did he do about it? Papoose said he went to the boy's parents' house. He said people told him not to. He said he did it anyway. Because, and I quote, as a father I felt like it was something I needed to take care of. Now, on the surface? That sounds like a good, protective father. Salute. But then Sway, bless his journalist heart, asks the follow-up question that unraveled the entire narrative. What age was this kid? And Papoose? He stammered. He stalled. He allegedly said, a year or 2 years older than my daughter. A year or 2. And then he added, and I quote again, that's another thing I didn't like. Y'all. 2 years. 2 years was enough of a red flag for Papoose to allegedly leave his house, drive to another family's residence, knock on their door, and confront the parents of a teenage boy. 2 years. And now the same man is reportedly in a relationship where the age gap is 17. Are y'all seeing what I'm seeing? Tell me how that makes sense. I'll wait. And here's my mirror theory, because I need y'all to sit with this. Now this is just my take, but I think the reason Papoose was allegedly so triggered by that boy 2 years older than his daughter is because Papoose looked at him and saw himself. He recognized the game. He recognized the intent. He recognized the power dynamic a slightly older, slightly more experienced boy has over a younger girl. And it made him uncomfortable. Because dads who've been that guy? They can spot that guy from a mile away. I'm just saying, it's odd. Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. There's a psychological concept called protective morality versus self-serving morality. And it's exactly what it sounds like. People hold one standard to protect their own, their daughters, their sisters, their family, and a completely different standard when their own desires are on the line. Papoose allegedly viewed 2 years as a threat when it was his baby. But 17 years? When it's him benefiting? Suddenly it's love. Suddenly she's mature. Suddenly it's different. Situational ethics. Cognitive dissonance. Two conflicting beliefs coexisting in the same head because the man wants what he wants. And on top of that, the mental gymnastics people do to justify this stuff is Olympic level. They'll say, oh, she's different. She's mature for her age. Our connection is special. You don't understand our situation. Ma'am. Sir. We understand. We're just not pretending we don't see it. But wait, because it gets worse. Because let's talk about who Claressa Shields is in this equation. She's a woman who has publicly shared some of her struggles. She has spoken openly about surviving abuse as a child. She has shared vulnerabilities that would make anyone with a conscience, approach a relationship with her with extreme care. And when you factor in reports that Nyla mentioned about certain cognitive considerations and government-recognized diagnoses that don't just disappear, the picture gets even more concerning. Now I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm just asking questions that need answers. So my question is, what happens when a man who allegedly built his entire adult identity by being married to a more famous, more successful, more culturally dominant woman, suddenly finds himself in a new relationship with another more famous, more successful, more culturally ascendant woman who happens to be 17 years younger? Who has more life experience in that equation? Who has more influence? Who has more social savvy? Who has more understanding of media manipulation? Because it sure ain't the 30-year-old boxer. And that's not even the craziest part. Let me stack these questions for you real quick. Where was Papoose when Claressa allegedly had all her original friends? Who advised her to publicly call this man her husband before any confirmed proposal? Why does she reportedly spend so much time defending him in comment sections? Why has the timeline of their meeting been so murky? Why did the divorce paperwork allegedly get signed in such close proximity to public announcements? Who's advising this girl? And more importantly, why isn't anyone asking? Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. In psychology, there's a concept called basking in reflected glory. Some people call it status by association. It's when someone can't or won't build their status independently, so they attach themselves to someone whose accomplishments they can borrow. Oh, that's the champ's man. That's the Olympian's boyfriend. That's the Grammy nominee's husband. Sound familiar? Because for 17 years, allegedly, Papoose was Remy Ma's husband. That was the brand. That was the identity. That was the entire public-facing persona. And when that ran its course? Now he's allegedly Claressa Shields' man. Same playbook. Different woman. New decade. And I'm just asking, at what point does a pattern become a strategy? Now here's where I have to challenge the official narrative. Because Papoose's team, and Papoose himself, and Claressa herself, they want us to believe this is a love story. A pure, organic, two adults in love situation. And listen, I love love. I would love for this to be love. But make it make sense. Let's do the outrage math. A man allegedly married for 17 years to one woman. Public brand built on black love. Multiple biological children. A 6-year-old at home. Reportedly meets a woman 17 years younger. Divorce papers allegedly finalized within a suspicious timeline. New woman calling him husband within months. Meanwhile, the ex-wife is allegedly posting timeline receipts about kids she claims she didn't know existed. Do the math on that emotional labor. Do the math on that trust deficit. Do the math on the number of women reportedly involved. And then tell me this is Nicholas Sparks and not something a lot more concerning. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm saying the facts, as alleged, don't support the story being told. And I'm just asking questions. Because if the answers were simple, they would have been answered already. And listen, I know some people are going to say I'm reaching. I know some people are going to say, let the man live. I know some people are going to say, age is just a number. Cool. Cool. But if you don't find this pattern suspicious? If you don't find the timeline suspicious? If you don't find the sudden reinvention suspicious? That's more concerning to me than anything else. Because in this day and age, after everything that allegedly came out about certain moguls, certain producers, certain family men, I'm not taking a single thing off the table. Now let me get into the shades. Because y'all, we cannot talk about this interview without talking about the sunglasses. Papoose has, over the past couple of years, allegedly developed a habit of wearing dark shades indoors during interviews, podcasts, sit-downs, radio drops, shades. And baby, the psychology of that is fascinating. Now, wearing sunglasses inside is not automatically a diagnosis. Some people just have a look. Some people have sensitive eyes. Some people are just committed to the aesthetic. But, and this is a big but, when you're doing interviews specifically designed to build public trust, and you consistently hide the one part of your face that communicates the most emotional information? That's a choice. And choices tell stories. In psychology, this can fall under something called impression management. You're crafting how you want to be perceived. Mysterious. Powerful. Detached. Cool. Untouchable. It's a form of what people sometimes jokingly call glamour magic, using aesthetic choices to influence how others read you. And when you pair that with what's called emotional shielding? Baby, we're cooking with grease. Emotional shielding is exactly what it sounds like. The eyes are the primary way humans assess sincerity, honesty, and emotion. If you're anxious, lying, vulnerable, intimidated, or just don't want to be read, sunglasses become armor. Emotional armor. It's a barrier between you and the person trying to see the real you. And I'm just asking, what does a man have to hide, allegedly, that requires that much armor during a soft focus interview? Then there's dominance signaling. When you can see everyone but they can't see you, you create an imbalance. You get all the information. They get none. Some psychologists say this can project confidence, but it can just as easily communicate evasiveness. Or, honestly? Corniness. I said what I said. And here's the piece I think really applies. Persona over authenticity. When someone consistently leads with the persona, the shades, the brand, the I'm the guy energy, instead of their actual, unfiltered self, it suggests that the authentic self is either underdeveloped or being deliberately hidden. And here's what got me. In the older interviews, when Papoose was allegedly still with Remy Ma, his eyes were visible. Clear glasses or no glasses at all. This dark shades indoors era is new. And I'm just saying, when a mask slips, sometimes people reach for a bigger mask. And on top of that, let me tell you something interesting I've noticed. Papoose reportedly wears the shades harder with some interviewers than others. On DJ Vlad? Shades. On rougher, more journalistic sit-downs? Shades. On Drink Champs, where he's reportedly more comfortable with the hosts and the vibe is friendlier? The shades come off. Now what does that tell you? It tells you the shades come out when scrutiny is expected. It tells you the mask is situational. It tells you the persona is calibrated to the audience. And in psychology, that pattern? That's not accident. That's design. Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. Let's get into the actor-observer bias, because this is where the Sway interview really exposes the game. Actor-observer bias is when we judge our own behavior by our intentions. God knows my heart, But we judge other people's behavior by their outcomes and appearances. So when it's his daughter dating a boy 2 years older, Papoose sees the potential outcome, exploitation, manipulation, power imbalance, and he acts to prevent it. But when it's him in a 17-year age gap, suddenly he's the exception. Suddenly his intentions are pure. Suddenly he's the safe older man. Because God knows his heart, right? Right? The math ain't mathing, baby. And I need to be real with y'all for a second, because this is where the human element hits. At the end of the day, Claressa Shields is a woman. A young woman. An accomplished young woman who has fought, literally fought, in a boxing ring, and metaphorically, in her personal life, for everything she has. She has shared publicly about the abuse she survived as a child. She has been open about her mental health journey. She has built herself into a 2-time Olympic gold medalist from the streets of Flint, Michigan. That is a woman. That is a whole human being. And she deserves to be loved by someone who is not allegedly using her as a career reinvention strategy. As somebody who has watched too many talented black women get chewed up in relationships that were never really about them, this hits different. Thank God nothing worse has allegedly happened yet. Thank God she still has her platform. Thank God she still has her championships. But the pattern of a talented, high-achieving black woman being isolated from her friends, having her image managed, having her narrative controlled. Nyla mentioned that former friends of Claressa have said Pap allegedly isolated her. We've seen this movie before. And it never ends the way the leading lady deserves. And this connects to a broader pattern in our culture. The way older men attach themselves to younger women in their come-up phase. The way successful black women in particular are often surrounded by men who benefit from their proximity without contributing to their protection. The way the manager/boyfriend/husband/advisor pipeline swallows so many of our sisters whole. It's not just about Papoose and Claressa. It's about a pattern. And patterns are what we're here for. Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. This isn't gossip. This is pattern recognition. This is emotional intelligence. This is knowing what to look out for in our own lives, in our own relationships, in our own families. Because the moment we can see the game in a celebrity relationship, we can see it in ours. So let me recap the unanswered questions, because there are a lot of them. First, how does a man who allegedly went to a stranger's house over a 2-year age gap justify a 17-year age gap for himself? Second, what really happened in the timeline between the alleged divorce, the alleged meeting, and the public husband announcements? Third, who is protecting Claressa Shields right now, and where are the friends who allegedly used to be in her life? Fourth, what is going on behind those dark shades that Papoose refuses to take off in interviews? And fifth, the biggest question of all, why does everyone around this situation seem to be tap dancing around the truth that's staring us in the face? This story is still developing, and trust me, I'm watching every move. There's more tea I can't spill yet because I got some intel this week that I need to verify before I bring it to y'all, but when I do, baby, you're going to want to be subscribed. Because what I've been told changes the whole picture. And I keep my word, so I'll bring you the receipts when the time is right. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, because I know y'all caught something I didn't. Y'all always do. Drop your Papoose theories below. Do you think the shades tell a story? Do you think the age gap hypocrisy is intentional or subconscious? Do you think Claressa really understands what she's in, or is she being managed into a corner? I read everything. Every comment. Every theory. Because y'all are my research team, and I mean that with my whole chest. And if you haven't watched my other Papoose and Claressa psychology breakdowns, go run through the playlist because this story makes so much more sense when you see the full pattern. When the next update drops, and one is coming, because I've got sources whispering things I can't unhear, I'll be right here. You already know. Stay safe out there. Stay observant. Stay reading between the lines. And always remember, now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. All commentary in this video is alleged. This is entertainment and opinion. Nothing stated should be taken as fact. Support creators. I'll talk to y'all soon. Love y'all. Bye.